Hi, friends. Let me share an ancient scripture with you. I trust you'll recognize it. It comes from Ecclesiastes. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. It seems to me that this is a time that, well, most of us have not encountered anything like before. Recently, I did a funeral for a woman whose adult children were remembering when they were quite young and how mom used to take all 7 of them, if you can imagine, all 7 of them throughout Saginaw and walk them many miles to the stores that she liked to frequent. She liked to go to certain stores because there would be shopkeepers there that she enjoyed meeting with. She didn't necessarily buy anything. They were a family without much money. But she enjoyed just being present with those shopkeepers, taking her children along with her. I suppose it was a very smart woman who would do such a thing because ultimately what she did is she kept her children from bouncing off the walls at home and walked them lots of miles and sapped them of all of their energy so that when they got home all they wanted to do was sleep, I suppose. That's good parenting. It's really a smart way to do things. But I was sharing with them also how recently I have seen families out walking these days because that's, well, what we can do to recreate, to exercise our bodies, to get out of our homes during this coronavirus. We're with our families and we're allowed to go out of our homes. And what I'm recognizing in this time where we're faced with much difficulty is that, well, in a sense, the difficulty itself is causing us to do some of the things we've needed to do anyways, to help us reset our priorities in our lives, to recognize that during this time of trial, that it's also a time for joy. It's a time for us to be drawn closer to one another, and therefore be drawn closer to God. Because really, isn't it true that where we encounter God the most is in the relationships that we share with other human beings, in the relationships that we share with friend and enemy alike, that God is calling us to something deeper and more profound and greater than what we've ever experienced before. That is our experience of living. That is, if you will, in the concepts that John Wesley taught, that is moving on to perfection. That's becoming, well, refined in God's grace. That's my hope for you during this time. This time that I suppose is not one for embracing. It's a time, I suppose, to refrain from embracing. A time to be separate from one another physically, but maybe as a result to be drawn closer together spiritually. A time to be brought closer together with God, our Creator. Let me share this old song with you. I trust you know it. Nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee. Then with my waking thoughts, right with your praise, out of those stony graves, Bethel I'll raise. So by my walls to thee, nearer my God to thee. Nearer my God to thee, nearer to thee. I hope that you're finding a deeper relationship with your family, a deeper relationship with God, your Creator, the living Christ. I hope that you're growing in a deeper relationship, even with yourself. Dear friends, look forward to seeing you in person sometime soon. God bless you, and keep it on.